I'm getting ready to take my mountain bike out for a ride. I'm going to ride down to the B&O Trail and ride along the trail from my home in Brownsburg. My mountain bike is a Specialized Hard Rock. It's a low-end Specialized bike, which is a quality bicycle manufacturer. I've had it for about 10 years and I really love it. It's been a very durable, good bike. I'd highly recommend Specialized to people who are looking for a nice mountain bike. I'm traveling through my subdivision right now on the way to the trail. It's located about a mile from my house, and it's a real easy ride along roads that aren't very crowded. Most of the roads in Brownsburg have sidewalks along them, which makes this community very walkable. It's easy to get around on foot here or on bicycle if that's something that you want to do. And it's, quite frankly, one of the reasons that we chose this community as a place to live. We like to be able to get around this way. I'm getting on the trail now, heading southeast towards Indianapolis. I'm going to ride about a mile and a half, 2 miles before the trail ends, and then I'll turn around and come back the other way. As you can see, the B&O Trail, which stands for Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, is a paved 2-lane trail. It's only been open for a couple of months, and as a result, there aren't a lot of people using it yet. When you come up to an intersection like this one I'm coming up to now, cross traffic is supposed to stop and let the hikers and bicyclists go. And in spite of the fact that the trail has only been open for a short while, people are real good about doing just that, and that's kind of surprising. But it just adds to the delightfulness of this. The surrounding countryside, as you ride along, is a mixture of subdivisions, relatively new suburban subdivisions, as well as farm fields. There's a farmer's field on the left there. And it's kind of a nice mix. Corn is the cash crop in this area, and there's a lot of corn along the trail. But there's also a lot of trees that grew up when this was a railroad, and people didn't want to see the trains and hear their noise, and trees do a nice job of absorbing sound. And so, along long stretches of this trail, you've got pretty dense vegetation on both sides of the trail. It is pleasant to look at and kind of gives you a little privacy from whatever lies beyond. Because this was a railroad right-of-way, the trail is as straight as an arrow. It's also flat. Trains don't do a good job of climbing hills, and neither do 51-year-old guys on bicycles, I guess. So it's kind of nice that this trail is flat. I know that when I rode in my subdivision in Texas, it was all I could do to get up some of the hills. And so this is a real welcome relief to be able to lay off the pedals for a little while and keep moving forward. There aren't a lot of crossings along this road, or this trail, excuse me. There was a road I crossed just a little while back. I'm going to cross a private drive up here in just a minute. And then I'll come to the end of the trail, not too far beyond that. And that also adds to the enjoyment of this. There's also not a lot of people using it yet. And again, I think that's probably because it's new and hasn't been here but for a couple of months. This trail, like some of the other rail trails in central Indiana, is funded through a combination of government money as well as private donations. There's a private not-for-profit group that spearheaded the effort to get this built. The B&O Trail Association is what they're called. And I really appreciate the hard work and the time and the effort that people have put into building this. It really is a treasure. There are a number of other trails in central Indiana as well. Just south of here is the town of Plainfield. It's about 6 miles south. And there is a trail that runs through Plainfield along an old railroad right-of-way as well. That's called, I don't know if it's called the National Road Trail. It has something to do with the National Road. In any event, that trail is supposed to go all the way across the state of Indiana from Ohio to Illinois when it's completed. This particular trail will run from Indianapolis in the center of the state to the Illinois state line at some point. At least that's the vision for it. And it'll be possible for me to ride to one of my favorite places, which is Turkey Run State Park, located about 45 miles west of here. I've reached the end of the trail now, and I'm turning around and heading back towards Brownsburg. It's County Road 300, which is located just 3 miles north of US 36. One of the things that's unique about central Indiana, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is that people are really committed to investing in this sort of asset. Economic times here are probably as tough as they are anywhere. And yet, in spite of that, and in spite of the fact that money's tight, people found a way to get this trail built this year. And that's really exciting. As I said, there's a lot of volunteer effort that went into this. But there was also a vision that a trail like this adds to the quality of life and adds to the community. And I don't think there's any doubt that that's the case. Whether it's being used for recreational purposes as I'm using it tonight, or whether it's being used as a means of commuting to work or commuting to school, or whatever the case may be. I know that years ago when I lived in Minneapolis, Minneapolis is blessed with just an extensive network of trails. They run along some of the parkways like Minnehaha Parkway. They run around the lakes, Lake Harriet, Lake Calhoun. There's trails along the Mississippi River. There's a newer trail along Interstate 394 that runs from downtown Minneapolis out to St. Louis Park, Golden Valley, Minnetonka, out that way, Hopkins. And I mean, again, it was visionary people who got these things built. And one of the most endearing images of my time in Minnesota, I think, was the fact that people would ride bikes on these trails year-round. It didn't matter if it was 90 degrees in the summer or 30 degrees below zero in the winter. People would be out riding. And it occurred to me while I was living there that, people were using these for more than just recreation. They were using them as part of the transportation network, a way to get to work or a way to get to school. And I hope they do that here too. I think that one of the things that's unique about central Indiana is that while we do have some urban trails in the city of Indianapolis, like Minneapolis does, we also have these suburban and rural trails. And I think that a lot more of the focus here has been on building that part of the network. And I think that bodes well, because I think the future is going to be remarkably different than the past when it comes to transportation. I hope that this turns out to be an asset that people can use in ways maybe they're not even thinking about yet. I'm rapidly approaching the end of the trail at State Highway 267. From here, I'll just hop up the road to Brownsburg to my home. If you'd like to learn more about Indiana trails, be sure to visit Degridding at www.degridding.com. Thanks for stopping by.